And then the next message says, I hate when MFS do this because who TF cares, like he was still playing with his butt, though wasn't you. Emojis, and then some sexy after 30 link, which I don't think I want to follow, but nonetheless is on there. Is that directed at you?
I'm not sure.
Okay. All right. And this matter is before the court today on Mr. Price's request to overturn a denial that I previously made of an application for a protective order with Ms. Bates as respondent. I would remind these proceedings are by necessity broadcast on YouTube in order to maintain an open courtroom. We are not, of course, in the actual courtroom today, but rather proceeding on Zoom video hearing for the convenience of all parties in the court. However, and Zoom video hearings, I will note, are permitted by the Michigan Supreme Court for this type of proceeding. However, the only official record of these Zoom video hearings is the recording that is maintained by the court itself for the purpose of appeal, etc. And no other recordings of these proceedings may be made or shared under Michigan law. So I just wanted to give that cautionary instruction to everyone before we started, since I know we do have an audience out there via YouTube. So as an initial matter, Mr. Price, will you state and spell your full name for the record, please?
My name is Marcel Price, Marcel Price, Price.
Very good. And Ms. Bates, would you do the same?
Yep. Alyssa Bates, ALYSSA BATES.
All right. Very good. Mr. Price, originally you requested this based on some sensitive and unauthorized audio recordings without your late wife's consent and using those online and otherwise to harass you and ongoing, I guess you describe it here as monitoring of your activities, causing you financial and emotional harm, and an attempt to block Ms. Bates on social media to maintain a safe distance. However, you say that despite that, she has been continuing to harass you. And I think you submitted some emails, perhaps, with some attachments for me to review.
That is correct.
All right. And do all of them concern Ms. Bates, or are they divided? I know I've got a couple cases with you to look at this afternoon.
They're all about this case.
Same case, all from Ms. Bates, or a different?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Well, then I guess start. I have one here with several attached JPEG images. I haven't looked at those yet. Let me swear you in, Mr. Price, so that you can authenticate these or tell me where these are coming from. If you could please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that your testimony today will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right. And I'm referring to certain images that were attached here, and I apologize. I'm kind of jumping between about 150 different screens with my somewhat clumsy technical skills. This first one appears to be, oh, that's just a screenshot of the hearing notice today. Not very exciting at all. Let's see. Well, are those somehow relevant to my decision? Okay, here we go. These are from Aly. Tomorrow, 2:30, you have a court hearing as Marcel Price tried to file a PPO against me, but it got denied. He appealed the decision, so now I have to appear in Zoom court. Not going to get into it. If you know, you know, I guess that's what that means, because I have teenage kids. But here's the info with the meeting ID. Okay, that's part and parcel of those uh messages we're talking about, Mr. Price.
That is some of them, yes.
Okay, all right. Let me jump up to the next here. Okay, and those appear to be responses to that. Now, whose Facebook page are these on your Facebook page, Mr. Price?
These are on Ally's.
Her Facebook page. She's posting them, and you're viewing it?
Yes, people are coming to me saying Ally's continuing to talk about you.
Okay. And when you say people are coming to you, you mean your friends, work acquaintance, who's coming to you and with these
Yeah, these are friends and community members. Yeah.
okay. Um mm, all right, and I just reviewed that first set of attachments there, which are mainly responses, it looks like, to the post that Aly made. As Mr. Price, has any of this cost you employment or a work opportunity that you can tell?
Yes, it has.
How so?
Multiple shows ended up uh backing out after Ally put the video online, linked to her Google Drive. Also, my most recent job and recent employer, they were sending that link to people in Kalamazoo, and recently lost that job.
Okay. And who was that with, Mr. Price?
Kalamazoo Community Foundation.
Okay. All right. Now, one of these items, let's see here, is, and I'm opening this as an email that you forwarded to my chambers yesterday on December 13th, Aly. Let's see. Boy. Again, with access to the today's hearing, and then the next message says, I hate when MFS do this because who TF cares, like you was still playing with his butt, though wasn't you, emojis, and then some sexy after 30 link, which I don't think I want to follow, but nonetheless is on there. Is that directed at you?
I'm not sure.
Okay. All right. You didn't take it when you saw that and say, "Oh my gosh, this is over the edge uh, slander directed at me."
I'm not sure if I know which screenshot you're talking about is
Oh,
the especially in the comments when it was saying like there's certain things that are happening that can't be talked about online.
okay. Well, this one is directly under the Aly, her, what I'm presuming here, might be Miss Bates' account. Um, but it doesn't mention your name anywhere in there. I can't tell, if it's directed at you or not. And it follows the other post. Well, I guess it precedes the other post that says, for your information, if you want to watch the hearing, click the link in the post. So,
Yeah.
okay. All right.
Oh, I think that's a screenshot and it's just
It
showing
just
another
picked up
one of
a
her photos.
previous post that wasn't
Yep.
directed at you.
Yep.
Okay. All right. No, that's helpful to me to know because, of course, when I look at these things, I don't know. All right. And then we're back here. I've got another Aly series here. It says allegedly, got to put that now because he also served me with a cease and desist. More information, I guess, and it goes back to that other post that I just referenced about how to watch the hearing, and then after 30, the thing that you said was not connected, and then there's, I've various other posts by other people, here, that comment, and of course elaborate in more descriptive ways, I guess, on what Aly is saying, but you wanted me to focus on what Aly is saying. I can tell you there, it looks to me like she's just republicizing this, and even here, in response to, a pretty, this is in a post by Lou Marie, which says, Ugh, is this the abuser used to go to the diatribe? Aly says, Lou Marie, or in quotes, allegedly, close quotes, got to put that now because he also served me with a cease and desist, i.e., publicizing kind of what's going on with her, but not saying anything, that I would describe outright as harassment or, outright threatening in and of itself. Is there, in addition to what you just listed, there other stuff that had been posted that you didn't forward to me?
No, there's not.
Okay. All right. Ms. Bates, I'll swear you in and let you make any comment you wish to on the information that you posted. If you would unmute, please, and raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that your testimony today will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Very good. And Ms. Bates, those items are posted on your Facebook page?
Mm-hmm.
You have to say yes, so I can make a clear record.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Not a worry. You haven't utilized, it doesn't look like, at least from what was sent to me, your Facebook page to directly message Mr. Price, or am I wrong about that?
No, I haven't blocked on social media.
Okay. All right. All right. Any additional evidence to present at this time, Mr. Price? Or any questions for Ms. Bates, I guess?
I guess I guess there's a little bit, but I don't have other evidence to.
Okay. Is it a question for Ms. Bates, or do you have just something additional you want to tell me?
I think it's just more context.
Okay. Why don't you tell me that? We'll call it a context of a closing argument.
Okay. So about 3 years ago, is one of the first times that I had an interaction with Aly. Aly reached out asking if I would write her a letter of support because she was being tried for a felony charge. The letter of support was to a judge asking for leniency for this charge, and that is what I did. The next time that I worked with Aly, I hired her as a contractor for a mural unveiling for the 49507 project, a local art project, and paid her to be a part of that and work with her on that unveiling. Outside of that, I've never had any personal interactions or a history with Aly. The next time that I would then have interaction with Aly was when Kylia started to post on social media after our intimate relationship came to an end. When Kylia started to post about an STI, which couldn't have been further from the truth because I get tested every 2 months and I have tests that show before and after we were together that I got screened for that exact STI. And it came back negative. And after Kylia started to post online about me and about my past, that's when Aly started to also chime in. And when these other people also started to chime in saying that I didn't need to have my job at the diatribe, that I shouldn't be public facing, that I shouldn't be a community leader. And that is when Aly was then connected to Nika's mom, Jen Everly. Aly didn't know Jen Everly and Kylia didn't know Jen Everly before all of this happened, or Nika's family or Nika's sisters. They don't know them personally, and politically they have very different opinions, because if you look at Nika's Instagram, there's a reason that these people are on her Instagram, and they have a huge history of homophobia and racism, from getting Nika to paint a large Confederate flag on the side of their garage when she was a child to waving a knife in her face. There's a reason why these people weren't wanted around at the end of her life. And I understand that Aly might be angry that I hurt her friend, and I have a past that I am not proud of. But bringing in my wife's story that was taken without her consent, and that was posted on YouTube, and that YouTube then took down because they're like, you can't posthumously post somebody's story where they can't say that they wanted it out in the world, is wildly violent. The fact that people then got me not only released from one job, but then I couldn't afford my house. So then had to sell my house, the house that my wife died in, the house that we got married in. And then I chose to move. I tried to just get away from everything and everyone. I wasn't going online. I wasn't bad talking any of these people. I wasn't down talking any of these people. I tried to continue to get myself out of the situation. And I moved to a new city, and tried to start a new job. And people then were messaging people in Kalamazoo everything about all of these things, these links, these stories, blog posts. And it then got me fired from another job. And this is harassing. This is stalking. This is causing a significant amount of mental turmoil and violence. And I can't get these people to leave me alone. These people are following the shows that I do. They're following where I work. In some of the original content that I submitted, Aly saying he moved to a new city. He's trying to rebrand himself. And I didn't try to rebrand myself. I moved because things were too much. And I can't even try to move and continue to heal. I've been literally forced to not grieve after being by my wife for 4 years, and I messed up at the end of her life, and I'm not proud of that. I wasn't around her the last month of her life because of an argument that we got in. And these people are saying that they want accountability, but everybody who comes around and asks me about these things, I'll be radically honest about all of the things. They don't want me to be accountable. It's like they want me to not have a job. They don't want me to have my house. It's like they want me to live in poverty. They want me to be punished. And that's okay. I understand. But like this is wildly violent. And when you're bringing in somebody's dead spouse, this is it's brutal to deal with. It's brutal to hold. And all I want is for these people to leave me alone so that I can grieve and so that I can continue to process and try to start some sort of life. And they're not leaving me alone. And there's numerous people that are working together and that are a part of this. And I just want them to leave me alone.
All right. And I think when you mention your deceased wife, you're speaking about this recording. Is that still posted as far as you know on the internet, or has it been taken down?
YouTube took it down because it was against their rules and regulations. And then in that original post that I sent to you, it was Aly saying YouTube took this down because it was reported, but thankfully I screen recorded it because people need to listen to what she has to say. And none of these people are Nika's friends. None of these people were there when Nika was dying. None of these people were caring for her in the last 4 years of her life. Like, none of these are people who were there.
All right. And as far as you know about, and I getting far out of my legal expertise here about ownership of those words of your ex-wife, presumably, I guess they would be a part of her estate. Do you know who, if anyone, has any claim to ownership of those?
Yeah, that's
say they
100%.
wanted to transcribe that and make it into a book, who would own it?
That would be me.
Oh, it would be you because you are the beneficiary.
Surviving spouse. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Did she have a will and that kind of things when she passed?
She didn't have a will.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you were married when she died, and as
Right.
such, you would have control over everything.
Correct.
Okay. And your statement as we sit here today is that you don't think that's what she would want in terms of that being publicized. And in any case, it's certainly not what you would like as the representative of her going forward.
Very true. Nika was incredibly private about her life, even her sexuality. There were so many aspects of her life that weren't public. And now there's so many aspects of her life that are being brought to light after she died. And she actually told the people that she was closest with before she died, she was like, hey, please protect Marcel because after is going to be horrible. Like she knew all of this was coming. And we're here now. And she's not here to say anything.
One way or the other. Understandable. All right, Ms. Bates, any response?
My response is, sorry, I just have to like digest everything that was just said. One being, I'm not collaborating with anybody else in terms of the things that I've said about Marcel and the things that I feel towards Marcel. I don't really know Kylia personally. We're friends on Facebook, but you know, I'm friends with a lot of people on Facebook. As far as Nika's mom, to my knowledge, I have not had like a conversation with her. I mean, I haven't had a conversation with her. I said to my knowledge in terms of like, maybe she commented under like a comment I made under Kylia's post. But
Sure.
Of course, I don't remember. That was years ago.
Okay.
How I feel about the situation in terms of him losing his job, him losing opportunities. These weren't like opportunities where I have been like keeping an eye on events that he has been a part of. It's just different events like that sporadically would pop up with people that I already follow. I think the only event that I could actually name that he was not allowed to be a part of or that got canceled was this storytellers event for this local business called De La Soul Records. And I mean, I saw that event being announced. I just didn't say anything before it was announced that it was canceled. I know other people did. I did respond under the post, I believe, or under a post that post that was shared. And I had no knowledge of his job. I was told that he moved, but you know, it was a lot of like back and forth. But again, like I really don't have any intentions to just keep barking up the same tree. Like, yes, I have a problem with Marcel. Yes, there's some things I've heard about him that aren't as favorable, but there's also like I have him blocked on all my social media platforms. I recently, like when this whole incident happened with some of the screenshots from, I believe, October 13th, I had blocked him on social media, on my social media platform, my personal, and I also had my own like Facebook page, my activism work. I have him blocked on Instagram. I have him blocked on TikTok. Like he's not someone who I care to like, who's like content I care to hear from. And that's just how I feel personally. And as far as the audio recording goes, to my knowledge, it was an audio recording that was recorded by Nika's sister with Nika's permission. And I was told that Nika's sister had the rights to the video. I wasn't sharing it in terms of, oh, I want to air Nika's private life out. No, I was thinking of it as in, there's a woman whose story has not been heard. And it was already public before I even put it out there.
Do you still have a copy of that, Ms. Bates?
I don't anymore, actually. I just deleted it off my phone.
Okay. All right. Yeah. No, I think, right. Certainly, you know, as I hear this whole scenario, it occurs to me that, right, that you know, it's uncertain who would have the rights to it. And presumably it probably would be Mr. Price. And, you know, anytime there's something like that out there, especially when you put it on the internet, you know, unattributed or attributed, you know, there's some shaky ground that anyone might be on. So I mean, I guess what I'm hearing from you, Miss Bates, is that, you know, even if I were to grant the protective order as asked by Mr. Price here, it's not going to necessarily impact your whole lot. You're not targeting or aiming your remarks or kind of posts at Mr. Price right now at all. You might occasionally see his name pop up, but it sounds like you're not very engaged with the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
Like I had no knowledge about like his job situation, his housing situation. I just heard that he moved, and it wasn't like I don't like sit down and have conversations with people. Like it's just stuff that you hear, like being connected with different people in the community.
All right. Well, I think I understand where you're coming coming from. All right. Well, and I also think I'm in a position to rule. So I have heard the testimony today. I've reviewed those exhibits entered by Mr. Price into evidence. Certainly the connection and the exposition unwanted of his, deceased wife's last words would be the sort of conduct that would serve as an incident of harassment in order to support the emplacement of a protective order. And since that was, unfortunately, posted to the internet, it was done repeatedly. So as such, I will grant a protective order at this point. The protective order will be limited to stalking as defined under MCL 750.411H and 411I, including but not limited to appearing within the person's sight, appearing at the residence or workplace of the residence or workplace of the person, approaching or confronting Mr. Price in a public space or on private property. And you can presume that includes on the internet, and that you wouldn't want to get into a direct, Mr. Price was to post a reading, for example, you wouldn't want to say, don't go listen to this guy, because of his past record. You can't send any email or direct communications to him or contact him by telephone, nor could you place an object or deliver an object to property owned, leased, or occupied by him. And then I'm also going to enter it under paragraph 5D, which says you can't post a message through the use of any medium of communication, including the internet or computer or any electronic medium, as defined by Michigan compiled law 750.411S. It is pretty comprehensive in that it says that would include even if you put something out there to a friend that would concern Mr. Price, for example, with the intention that she posted or he posted, and then Mr. Price read it, and that gets tied back to you. That could be construed as a violation. That will be in place. I'll sign and enter the order and make it effective today. It'll be in place for the next 6 months, which will make it from December until May the 13th of next year, 2025, at which point, if Mr. Price believes there's a basis to continue it, that is, there are continuing violations, I'll consider it for continuation, or after which point it will expire. And my hope is, of course, everyone here will go on and move forward with their own affairs. So that will be my ruling. I'll sign and enter the order accordingly and send it out to both of you. Thank you.
Judge, our next one is, again, with Mr. Price and Jennifer Everly. I'll bring.
Very good. If you bring Miss Everly in.
Ms. Everly, can you please turn your camera on and unmute? You'll need to unmute, please.
There you go.
Okay, thanks. We are here in the matter of Marcel Price versus Jennifer Everly, case number 24-11066PH. This hearing is being recorded on Zoom and live streamed on YouTube.
And this matter comes before the court this afternoon on Mr. Price's appeal of my initial denial of a requested protective order against Miss Everly. So as an initial matter, I've already had Mr. Price state and spell his name for the record in the previous hearing. Miss Everly, would you state and spell your full name for the record, please?
Yes, it's Jennifer Everly. It's Jennifer. Last name is Everley.
All right, very good. Thank you, Miss Everly. And is it Jennifer Lynn Everly by chance?
Yes, it is. Sorry.
And I ask because some of the messages that Mr. Price references here are attributed to Jennifer Lynn, and I will ask Mr. Price, I guess, initially here if those are the ones we're talking about. So, Mr. Price, if you would again raise your hand, I'll swear you in. You solemnly swear or affirm that your testimony today will be the truth and nothing but the truth.
I do.
All right. And Can you explain the relationship between you and Miss Everly, Mr. Price?
Yeah, Jennifer Everly is my former mother-in-law. She's the mother of my late wife, Nika.
Okay, all right. And specifically, what you cited in your request for a protective order is that Miss Everly called your place of employment, resulted in the loss of your job. Was that the job you testified previously to about Kalamazoo, or was that a previous job?
correct.
Okay. And you also have witnesses to confirm that she's contacted media outlets to disrupt radio interviews following your appearances. Do you have witnesses to that effect today?
I don't have witnesses to that effect, but I can get them if needed, or I can get letters from them from Michigan radio after I did my appearance.
Okay. And okay. All right. And you did attach some messages that appear again to be Facebook posts.
That's correct.
And now these are under the Kylia Morgan account from July 15th of 2023. And the one attributed to Jennifer Lynn starts, "Keep speaking until something is done!" Exclamation point. His behavior and the things he did to my daughter Nika last July are disgusting. And then goes on to make various additional allegations.
That is correct.
And were those posted to Miss Morgan's Facebook? Where'd those come from?
So these originally started when Kylia started posting about our physical relationship after Nika transitioned. And I also want to say that unlike all of these other people who are involved with this, I understand where Jen is coming from. Jen has anger that's valid. She has hurt that's valid. She's somebody who was incredibly close to Nika and who was around at the end of Nika's life, and who loved Nika very much. And I personally feel like these people are weaponizing her anger, because a lot of these people are mad at me for being an F-boy or for sleeping around, and they can hold on to something and have something tangible with what's going on with Nika. And I think when this was originally posted online, Kylia's post, somebody sent it to Jen. At least that's what was said when we talked. And I'm sure that for her, it felt like, wow, this is so soon. The audacity of him being able to hook up with somebody so soon after Nika passed away. And I'll admit that I'm not somebody who drinks. I'm not somebody who drugs. I leaned into intimacy. I leaned into sex. And while it was consensual, I can understand how that hurt her as a mother, and how it hurt the people that she loved. But then these people started messaging her and getting in her head, talking about my past. And I'm sure that she assumed like, oh, this is a past Nika didn't know about. But all of these people are people who were making our life hard for years. These are people who, when Nika got diagnosed with cancer the first time, were trying to disrupt our life. These are people who were trying to get me to stop doing work at schools. These are people who were making Nika's life hard when she was creating a neighborhood act.
Are you referring to Miss Everly, her mom, or other people?
I'm saying that these other people who are involved in this, who are involved with talking about me in my life.
Such as Miss Bates, who we just had.
Such as Miss Bates, such as Kylia. There's also people like Denavia. There's people like Jazz, AC, Erica. Like there's other people who are also involved in this. People like Asia, people like Alita. Some of these people Nika was close with. Some of these people Nika despised. And I understand Jen doesn't have the context of that. But what I wanted with this and why I felt the need, this was necessary. I understand Jen is grieving. I understand this hurts her. but I just need her to leave me alone so that I can grieve. Like, these people are posting these videos online of Nika, and I know that Jen would not know that this isn't something that should exist in the world. Nika was so private. Like, me and Jen even talked outside of this, and she was like, man, you need to, let Nika rest. We need to not talk about the bad memories. And like, these people continue to weaponize this and conjure all this up. And the reason why I felt the need to do this is because, like, calling my job and calling shows that I'm on, like, we can't do that. I understand that I hurt you. I understand that I failed as a husband in the end of Nika's life, but like, you can't do these things. Like you have to leave me alone.
All right. Well, I think I'm understanding where you're coming from, and I take it you still would like the protective order for those reasons that you just stated.
That is true. Unless again, if Jen is depending on what Jen is feeling, if Jen is like, hey, I can leave you alone. Like, I'm not gonna call radio stations anymore. I'm not gonna call your job. Like, I'm gonna leave you alone. I'm fine with it. But I just more wanted on the record that, like, again, this has to stop. Like this isn't okay. And what all of these people are doing isn't okay. It's not okay.
All right. Well, the one I haven't heard from yet is Miss Everly. Miss Everly, if you'd please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that your testimony today will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right. And Miss Everly, what I'll do is I'll have you make a statement in response to what Mr. Price just said. I'll ask any follow-up questions I have, and then Mr. Price will have an opportunity to ask you any questions that he has, as well, as kind of the way that this matter goes. So with that, go ahead, Miss Everly. What's your response to what Mr. Price said?
So I would agree with the fact that a lot of people used a lot of situations. Where I am at right now in my life, I quit drinking 6 months ago. I no longer have that anger. Like, I'm trying to just deal with the fact that my daughter's gone, which is hard. And I don't want anything to do with him. I will not speak to anyone anymore about it. And anybody that was caught up in all that, I just don't want to be a part of it anymore. I am trying to heal. I am in therapy. Like, this was very out of the blue. I've been doing very well, and this hit me hard. But I don't want anything. It is what it is. Part ways. She's gone. That's where I'm at.
And it sounds to me, first of all, Ms. Everly, congratulations on 6 months of sobriety. I preside over our adult treatment court here in Kent County, and I can tell you the work you're doing is as hard a project as anyone's going to engage in their lifetime. So I greatly appreciate the hard work that takes on a minute-by-minute basis to make that happen. Secondly, it sounds to me like, in the process there of staying sober and getting some counseling, which I'm also very grateful to hear you're availing yourself of, is you've realized that though you did engage in the past and engaged in some of these, what I'm going to refer to as shots at Mr. Price, those are no longer in your interest, and your intention is not to do that going forward.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Mr. Price, do you have any questions for Ms. Everly?
No, I don't.
Very good. And I guess the
Congratulations.
question, at this point, Mr. Price, is do you wish to continue with your request to have this PPO reinstated, or are you satisfied with what you heard here today?
I'm satisfied as long as, again,
Well, you have the right to file for another one, should the situation change
Yeah.
in a month. Another thing of being in court has told me is, what happens in front of me is good for as long as I see it in front of me. And, things could be different tomorrow morning. But, from where we stand here today, it sounds like you and Ms. Everly at least in agreement on things going forward. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think more than anything, I'm very much in agreement, and I'm not like I just need to be left alone. I need to be able to try to get a job. Like, I lost the house because I lost the job at the diatribe. I didn't want to sell the house. I couldn't afford to pay the bills for the house not working at the diatribe, and I had to sell a house that, as you know, we got married in and then Nika died in. I didn't want to sell it. It's not something that was an easy decision for me. And all of these people continuing to talk about Nika after she's gone, like, this is violent. This is messed up. Like, these people, like, you know better than anyone what this journey is like. And to deal with this for going on 2 years is messed up. Like, people posting these videos, people talking online, like, this is messed up. And I can't grieve with this going on. Like, so again, if you can implore people to stop, like, this isn't okay.
All right. Any final word, Miss Everly?
No, like I said, I'm grieving over here, and I am living my life better and just trying to make it through the day.
Well, and I can tell you that, living your life sober, and I say this as, my younger brother's recovering alcoholic for the past 15 years or so, and I've also lost several family members and friends to the consequences of long-term alcoholism. And I can tell you for sure that in terms of honoring your daughter's life and just simply staying alive yourself to live your own best life, that those choices you're making are definitely doing that in the direction you're going. I've also heard from Mr. Price that he's accepting of your statement that you're not desiring to engage in this any longer. And, I'm hearing from both of you that you are grieving and further wishing some space to grieve in your own individual ways. And, I do think that that's important, and I'm not going to be trite enough to suggest that that process is going to be over in any set amount of time. I have no doubt that both of you, because you did have a deep relationship here, will have moments years down the future when that deeply impacts you, but simply because you cared for and loved about another person. So I will at this time deny that order and not enter a protective order against Miss Everly. And I will wish both Mr. Price and Miss Everly a sober and safe and at least filled with the warmth of the season, holiday season this year. Thank you.